Great. And we are live. Welcome to the Black Woman Build Wealth channel. My name is Sam. Welcome back, Queens. And as you can see, I have a guest for you. I promised. And I'm so excited to have Bisola, WhizQueen, aka WhizQueen, joining us tonight to talk everything about money, business, and travel. So it will be high level and conversation, and I'm really excited to have her here and learn more about her. So I'll let you introduce yourself and then we can get started. Hi, Bisola.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone, I'm Bisola or WhizQueen. I'm passionate about finance and I love to travel. That's what I do in my free time. Travel now sort of became work for me now, but I do enjoy it regardless. But I'm based in Toronto, Canada. I create content on social media where I share content about financial literacy and lifestyle. And yeah, that's just the brief details about me.
Great.
I'm
So
excited to share.
welcome. So if you guys don't know her, I hope that you go on her YouTube right away and check her YouTube. She has an amazing platform. Like she says, she talks about finance, travel. I think I came across your channel maybe a year
Oh,
ago or something, shortly before you actually quit your job, and I'm like,
really?
I need to listen more about this. How did she make this happen? And so
Yeah.
that'll be something that definitely will be great for you
Yeah.
to
I'm
actually.
always happy to talk about it.
Let's talk about it because honestly, so many people will like to do the same, and quit
Um,
their job. So how did you prepare for that? And what made you make that decision, literally?
so for me, the thing is, before even moving to Canada, I always had a business where I was managing like 7 employees. My life was good. I did have a job at the time, but the job was just for the sake of it. For us, we used to say like when Nigerians say something like it's just for vibes. Yeah, so the job was just for vibes, just to make friends, make connections, and
Mhm.
have fun. The business was what was more so my main stream of income at that time.
Mhm.
But when I came to Canada, I thought I was going to do the same thing, like start up my business and just keep up with the flow. But when I came here, I started for like a month or two. Then I realized that, nah, you have to make Canadian dollars to pay your rent. You have to earn in Canadian dollars. You cannot keep spending your money in Naira. When you do that, then you can now start to invest in setting up your business. So
Mhm.
when that happened, I said, okay, I realized I had to go to work first. Then I applied for jobs. I got a job. I started a life. And like before I know it, I was 3, 4 years down the hamster wheel. This is not where I wanted to be. I just wanted to do this for just a short time, make
Mhm.
quick money for my rent and start my business again. But then I got trapped into it. And I keep going, keep going, keep going. But then at some point I just realized that nah, this is not for me. This is not exactly what I want for my life. And what if I take 1 year and I pour that 1 year into building something that I'm really passionate about and see how that goes? Because one thing I've always noticed is if you put in so much time and effort and passion into doing something, you're likely to see it successful and you're likely to see it grow and flourish. So I told myself, what if I put 1 year into content creation, into my business, into different ideas that I have, poured that 1 year into myself? What would happen after that 1 year? And I realized that's something I really want to find out. I'd rather try it than it doesn't turn out well than live with the fear that, okay, what if I had tried it and it turned out well, right? So I didn't want to live with that fear of missing out. And I was like, okay, I have to pursue this journey. I have to prepare myself, take 1 year off as a sabbatical, invest my time into doing something I'm passionate about and see where that leads me to. So, and that's the journey I'm on right now. And I've been loving it so far.
So tell me, how did you prepare mentally, and financially to actually say, I'm taking 1 year off? And before I let you respond, just want to say hi to Eileen here. You guys, as you're coming into the chat, just say hi. Good evening, Eileen. Nice
Hey,
to see you
hi, Eileen.
here.
Hi, Ron.
And yeah, so how did you prepare for that,
So,
mentally and financially, right? Because
yeah, money is important. I know.
exactly.
The financial part I'll start off with, what I did is I tried to look at my monthly expenses. I
Mhm.
calculated how much exactly do I need to spend on monthly basis. I'm into finance. I do my budgets consistently. I know how much I spend. And I realized, okay, yes, this is the X amount of money that I spend on monthly basis, multiply that by 12. Then I had the number that I was working with. So I started to save and work backwards and save towards that number. But before I started saving, I also looked at my lifestyle and I looked at things that I can let go of. Because obviously the number is a lot of money. If you're not making money consistently, then there are some things that you have to just put aside and keep going with, like the most important thing. So I cut off all unnecessary expenses. I had the number that I was working with. I started to save towards it. And once I even hit my saving goal, I wasn't still ready to quit because I still felt like that means after now I wouldn't be making money for the next 1 year.
No paycheck.
I don't think I'm ready for that. So I sat down, I did some more research, and I found that okay, let's say after 1 year, I really do need to go back to workforce. I need to get a job. How do I keep going? How do I sustain my lifestyle before I actually find a job? Because right now the
Mhm.
job market is crazy. For you
Yeah.
to find a good job, a good decent job, it might take up to 6 months. So I
Mm.
told myself, okay, so at least since I'm an experienced professional, I have the work experience and I have the skill set, it will probably take me between 3 to 6 months to find another job. So I should save up against like a savings buffer for when I need to do a job search. So if I ever need to go back to finding a job after the 1 year completes, then I would need another 3 months for me to actually find a job. So I added that 3 months and saved up for a total of 15 months. And I felt like, okay, yes, I had enough. But even still, mentally, when it was the day that I felt like, okay, it was time to quit, I still couldn't let go. It felt like, you've worked for this, you've put in so much work, so much passion. And I really loved the people I was working with. I was learning a lot. It was a great workplace. And I felt like, am I really ready to quit and face this life? Is full of uncertainties. But I just told myself, if you pour your 110% into doing something that you love, be rest assured that you'll be successful at it. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I just said, you know what? One day, just one random Wednesday like that, I just texted my friend. I just said, I think I have my resignation date already. I was like, are you serious? She called me, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? You've thought about this? Da, 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 da. Say, yes, 100%. I'm ready to let go. I told my mom, she was like, are you sure? Everybody, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm ready to let go. It's okay. They trust me. And I feel like the people around me, they didn't discourage me at all
Mhm.
because they know me very well. That I'm very logical. I'm not someone that will make a decision without properly thinking about it. There's
Yeah.
no way on earth I'll just randomly wake up one day and decide to quit my job. I must have planned it. I must have had it all figured out and everything. So they all encouraged me and they wished me the very best. And I just sent him a letter. And my manager was like, what? No way, that is impossible. Why? Da, da, da. Well, it was such a fun experience seeing how much you are valued at work. I just wish I knew that even before, and I wish they were saying it a lot more before my resignation days. But I mean, it's just what it is. But yeah,
Well,
that was how I was able to prepare financially and mentally.
so will that have changed your decision if you actually realize how much you were valued at work?
I don't think it would have changed much, but it would have helped me appreciate, like, it would have helped me know that I was valued at work. I knew that my manager, people, every single time when we have like weekly meetings, they always encourage us, they always like appreciate the work we are doing and say, oh, yeah, we see everything you're doing, we appreciate it here and there. But I wish I like they said it more, I wish it was more personal,
Mhm.
not like saying it all together as a group. It
Yeah.
was when I was actually resigning that my manager was like, I'm not sure I can run this job without you. Like you're really, really carrying this team on your back. She used this
Wow.
specific word I don't even remember right now. She was like, wow. Oh yeah, she said I was the firefighter of the team. And I was like, I don't want to be the firefighter of your team. No, absolutely not. But yeah, it was at that point in time that I realized how much value that I was
Mhm.
giving to the team, how much they were dependent on me. And it just made me feel like it's too late now. I'm like my mind is all
Yeah.
made up. I'm sure that even up until the last day, if I wanted to change my mind, they were ready. They were like, okay, are you
Mhm.
sure you're really leaving? Up until the last day, I was like, oh yeah, I am leaving.
Wow.
I am.
When you actually made the video about that, I was like ecstatic because my community, the community that I'm part of, the Exodus community, Black women looking at taking sabbaticals and career break, and some of us even quitting our job. Most of us, it's really a mental challenge and a financial challenge as well, right? So to see younger people like you make, just like taking the leap and be like, I'm taking that 1 year sabbatical to focus on what I really want. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, the jobs will still be there. Yes, it might take you a bit longer to get it, but like you just say, when you trust yourself, that you have the knowledge, that you have the experience, you have the expertise, and that you can find a job. The job will still be there, right? So I feel like when you have that calling, it's really important to listen to it. But it's so. How long did it take you overall to actually save how much you needed for that 1 year
Yeah.
sabbatical?
So I'm someone that I've always had, like I always have like not emergency saving this time. Like typically everybody should have like 3 to 6 months, but I always have like extra savings just
Hmm.
for it's like vex money for me. It's like whatever
Yeah.
happens, I would have money to fall back on just to take care of my needs. So I've always had like that savings on ground, but like saving for a whole 15 months is a different ball game
it,
entirely
it
because
is.
you still want to have savings for other things. Anything can happen with your vehicle, anything can happen in your personal life. And I'm
Mhm.
someone that loves to travel as well. So I need money for travels. So it took,
Wait,
I'll say it took
travel
me.
was part of your budget? That's not a necessary thing?
No. I'm someone that I love to travel. So I still also have to save for travel as
Yeah,
well.
that's true.
No,
Yeah.
no. Travel is not part of my monthly expenses. It's just
Okay.
something extra on the side. And I save for
Okay.
travel differently.
That's good.
So I'll say it probably took me around a year. Yeah, it took me around a year alongside like the other savings. So some of the other savings that I had that I wasn't using for any specific needs, I just channeled some of them to like my
Sabbatical.
sabbatical funds.
Okay.
I moved that in there. Then I started putting it in a high interest youth savings account. I also did some extra jobs. So that's also another thing I need to point out. I did do some freelancing at the moment just because I had like a short time, not really a short time, not like anybody puts me on a timeline, but I put
Mhm.
myself in that timeline like, oh, I want to make this much money by this much time. And because I really wanted to quit as soon as possible, I took up extra work, extra freelancing gig. I also do content creation. So I put in so much time into my content creation, pitched a lot of brands and all these things just to make extra money.
Mhm.
So that kind of helped me reach my savings goal in less than 1 year.
That's amazing. And do you mind sharing how much you actually saved over the 12 months?
I actually don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but I do know that I have like my most important things, my rent, my feeding, my
Mhm.
groceries, all of those things all saved up.
Saved
So
up. Okay.
for like the 15 months that I had target for.
This is impressive. And now you are like in month, I think you're kind
I'm
of
in
like
month
6 or 7 months
six
in.
now. Yeah, six. I started
Okay.
in October.
That's amazing. And how's that been going so far?
It's been going fantastic, way better than I expected. I've been loving it so far. I've had like good rest. Though I'm still stressed out, not for money, but I'm still stressed out because I felt like when I quit my job, I would have so much more time to put into content creation. But so content creation itself, it's a lot of work that you have to do. So I'm still in the building phase of my content creation business,
Mhm.
and at the same time working on other business ideas that I have that hopefully I'm able to share them at one point when they start to make a lot of money. So yeah, in my fifth month now.
Okay, that's amazing. And so I remember one of your videos, you were talking about buying a property. And
Yeah.
then after you decided against it, and the whole craze about buying a house, and especially for younger generations,
Mhm.
unfortunately, housing is not as affordable as it used to be 20 years ago. So can you walk me through, I guess your train of thought and how you
Yeah.
decided actually I'm not doing this?
I'm not doing that. Yeah, sure. That's very interesting. And I'm glad you asked because that's something I love to talk about. I literally made a whole video about it.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm someone that I'm very analytical. Like again, even when I was trying to quit my job, I had to put down the numbers. It had to make sense to me. Like, okay, when I hit this number, when I hit the savings goal, I can now do this. That's the same thing with respect to buying a property. I sat down, did the calculation, did all the math, spoke to a broker, we did the calculation. She told me how much exactly I would need to pay. I was approved for a $650 thousand
Mhm.
dollar property. Then she told me how much exactly I would have to pay on monthly basis for the house that I was looking for. She also we did the analysis on how much would go into the principal, and as well how much would go into the interest. And that is something most people don't do. Most people just want to know, okay, I'm paying $2,500 monthly towards the mortgage, and to them they feel like they're paying down the mortgage. That's all that matters. But you want to see exactly how much goes into the principal, how much goes into the interest. That way, you know when, like, how your money is being utilized. So when
Mm-hmm.
I realized that about 80% of the money is going into the interest and 20% is going into the property, I
At,
said,
at
okay,
the beginning, yeah.
yeah. I said, okay, that's good. The 80% turned out to be around like $2,700 because the total monthly payment was going to be around 3,005, I think.
Mm,
Yeah, something around that range. And I didn't matter. Okay, if I'm going to be paying like 2,800 as interest to owning this property, which was a condo, it was a two-bedroom condo.
mm,
Wait, hold on. 2,800. How much will it cost to actually rent a
mm,
two-bedroom condo? So
yeah.
I did the math and I saw that there were two-bedroom condos around the same price, 2,800, 3,000. Okay, cool. So that means I can get the same thing for this price.
Mm-hmm.
And when you buy a property, it doesn't stop at paying the mortgage cost.
Exactly.
There are other monthly costs that comes into the picture. You
Yeah.
have your taxes, you have utilities, you have maintenance,
Mm-hmm.
you have all of these unforeseen costs that could also arise alongside without you even planning for it. So this is something that is additional expenses on top of the interest cost that you're going to be
Exactly.
paying.
Yeah.
This is not even covering the principal because in my head I'm looking at the principal as an investment. So I just
Mm-hmm.
told myself, okay, this number is not making sense right now. So I sat down again. I said, if I decide to rent out this property, how much could I possibly get from it?
Mm-hmm.
Then I did a market survey. I saw that in that area you could rent out that property for like 3,000 to 3,200. I also did the maths to see how much extra would I have to pay out of pocket
Yeah.
to maintain this property. And it turned out I would have had to pay almost $800 more, and there would still be potentially expenses that I would not have like budgeted for that could
Mm-hmm.
arise at any point in time. So after doing all of that mathematics and analysis, I was just like,
The
mm-mm.
math was not my thing.
Math was not my thing. It wasn't. It wasn't. I just told myself, no, no. I don't think this is a wise decision for me right now. Maybe this property was overpriced. Then I started to look at other ones that was around 500K
Mm-hmm.
and much cheaper, would still be more expensive. Like I'll still have to pay out of pocket. But then at that point in time, I still felt like I wasn't getting value for the money that was going to be. It wasn't. The numbers didn't add up. Basically, let me just put it that way. The
Mm-hmm.
numbers didn't add up. It didn't make sense to me, and at that time, we're not sure of where the interest rate was going. The interest rate every other month, the bank was increasing, and the Bank of Canada was increasing the
Mm-hmm.
interest rate, and we're not sure of where the economy is going into. Inflation rate was increasing every single month, and it just felt like, nah, there's no need to rush. I'm young, I still have time. I can always buy a property in 2 years and 3 years and 5 years, even tomorrow if I want. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no need to rush it. And I did analysis of the people that a lot of successful people out there, they don't even live in the property that they own. They
Yeah.
rent.
Yeah.
So
Right.
why do I need to feel the like why do I feel the need to rush? No. You can always buy a property. It will always be there as long as you have your money. So take your sweet time and make that decision at the right time. And that was how I
Wow.
made the decision.
This is great. And just so you guys know I said that she's Gen Z. She's no Gen Z. She's a millennial. She's a millennial. That baby face, don't let it
Yeah.
fool you. She's a millennial. But
Yeah.
honestly, that housing, the whole discussion about housing, and full disclosure, I own my own place. I've owned my place for more than 10 years. Things were different back then. But I look at young people today and my heart breaks because so many, of the young people, they feel like if they don't own that property, it's almost like they haven't achieved much, and that whole pressure of like you need to become a homeowner almost at all costs, because as you just said, you took your time to crunch the numbers and realize that, oh my god, if I were to rent this, I'm going to be paying $800 for someone to stay at my place, right? So, and that is like, hopefully, if you get a good tenant who doesn't trash your place and you have to
Mhm.
all of those extra, so I'm like, you took that time, but most people don't really go that far, right? It's like I'm paying $1,500 rent. If my
Mhm.
mortgage is 1,800 or maybe 2,000, I think I
Mhm.
can afford it. But like we say, your rent is the maximum you're gonna pay, and your mortgage is the minimum you're gonna pay. So you need to be ready for definitely, something's gonna happen.
Anything that can happen, yeah.
Mm, yeah. So honestly, I feel like, yeah, I don't know, in your circle of friends, people your age, what is the conversation about? Like, when it comes to housing, are people more chill like you, or like you feel like people are really so stressed about, the fact that housing is unaffordable right now? Am I ever gonna be homeowner? What is the discussion right now in
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I do have a friend that just recently closed on a property, so that's good. People are still affording houses here. People can still buy. But what I do encourage most people to do is to take their sweet time. No need to rush. You don't need to feel like you have to buy the property right now. There's still time for it, and it's good that you're not feeling like you're alone because not even a lot of people right now can even afford to buy a home.
Mhm.
So that feeling of knowing that you're not the only one that can afford to buy a home, it makes some people feel good, and I agree with them. I totally encourage it, and I agree with them totally. So yeah, people are still buying properties, but
Mhm.
now I find that more people are taking a step back and
Yeah.
critically assessing the situation. And because these days, for you to actually even find a property that you can afford, you either have to be moving out of town, and we're all young, we're still in an early stage of life and our career.
Mhm.
And for you to build the kind of career that you want, you probably need to be in a city. So most people do not want to move to like out of town. So they'll just rather stay here, and that's enough reason for them to not even feel the need to rush to buy a property because they
Mhm.
can't even afford a property in the GTA anyways.
Yeah. And Hope and Victory says something that I really like here, in the sense that, the money that you have extra that you feel like you want to put into a mortgage, you can invest that. And
Mhm.
honestly, I see that so much in my, financial independence circles, where you have people who are homeowners, but people also have been renting their entire life, and they're like in their 40s now, and they have invested so much, and their investment portfolio is like huge, because they never had to fix any toilet. They never had to pay any property taxes. They
Yeah.
rented their entire life, and they have
Mhm.
no incentive to actually change that. So that's what I tell people. You can build wealth whether you own a house or you don't own a house. Like, the way to wealth, the journey to wealth building doesn't mean that you have to
To own a home.
own a home. Yeah, but like Hope and Victoria says here, it's almost like it is expected in this society to be a homeowner. It's like you made it. So, and they forget about the math. I do agree. They forget
Yeah,
about the math. So
I agree.
that's good for you. And so let's talk about. I know, like at the beginning of the year, you started a program, which was, I believe, a year-long program.
Yes, yes. Smart money group.
That was investment or savings.
Yeah, it's like a smart money group. So basically, the group is all about encouraging people to reach their savings goal, helping them along the way, providing the needs that they could potentially have, supporting them, helping them with accountability, providing resources as well. A lot of times, most of what we do meet on monthly basis, and I do provide one-on-one sessions as well. So everyone's gets a one-time one-on-one session with me where we get to plan their finances and they
Mhm,
discuss with me on anything that they would like to have. And
mhm.
that is going so well right now. We're in our second month and we are planning our no spend challenge for March.
Nice.
This weekend we're meeting for LinkedIn. So I'm trying to help. Like I brought in a guest that is going to be discussing everything LinkedIn. Just because obviously to make money that you can save, you need a good job, right? And people have expressed interest in learning more about LinkedIn to build their career. So I definitely had to provide that resource for them. So that's what we are planning for this weekend. Then for the coming month, we have our no spend challenge. It's been going awesome, and I also decided to put it on a monthly plan because some people wanted to be there for the year, and some people also just wanted to test it out to see, even though they eventually converted to the annual plan. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's still open on monthly basis for anyone that still wants to join. So yeah, it's going well.
And I believe that's on your website, right?
Yeah, it's on my website. I would also drop it in the chat in a bit.
Okay, yeah, please do that.
Mhm.
And for all of the people watching, if you guys have any question, feel free to drop the question in the chat here, and Bisola will be more than happy to answer you. So you're a personal finance educator, and you have been doing that for a few years now. So, you know, what do you feel like is the theme? What are people struggling with the most right now when it comes to money out there? And I know it's wild out there right now. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy. People out there are struggling with a lot of things. I think the link I sent it in the private chat. So if you can
Oh, okay.
kindly
Let
put
me
it
see.
in the
Sure.
chat for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, so people are struggling with a lot of things, making money, saving money, and growing money. I feel, and that's what my old brand is all about, trying to teach people how to make, save, and grow money. Those are like my core pillars
Mhm.
in my financial education programs that I do. I noticed that most young people are actually struggling to save. That is one thing
Mhm.
that, because everyone is trying to keep up with the lifestyle. Lifestyle creep is here and there. You see people traveling on Instagram, you want to go there. You see people wearing the latest outfit, latest designer, carrying the latest bag, and you want to go there because of social media. Basically, is putting a lot of pressure on people to want to live a certain lifestyle even though they know they cannot afford it. So I'm noticing that more people my age group, even younger, are struggling with saving. And that is also one of the reasons why I actually created the accountability group. So we do like bi-weekly check-in. If your savings goal is on weekly basis, so people have like different saving schedules, some people weekly, some people monthly, some people
Yeah.
will follow up with you. Have you done your savings? Send your proof of savings. So we do all of that, just hold them accountable. And they've been loving it so far. Sometimes, oh, I did do it this week, I'll do it next week. We'll follow up next week again. Say, okay, yeah, fine, I've done it. It's always so interesting when it feels like a parent chasing their kids to
Yes.
do something. But it's really nice to see that everyone has been keeping up with the discipline. They've been trying to
Mhm.
commit to it. So I find that more people these days are actually struggling with saving because you might make a lot of money, but if you don't know how to manage your money,
Yeah.
it's as good as not having anything, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I noticed that more people are struggling with these days.
Wow, that's impressive. For me, like I've said that so much on the channel here. Accountability, especially when you're struggling with something, is key. When you get into the right community, the right group, the right with the right person, that can really change a lot. So kudos to you for doing that, helping so much
Yeah,
people out there
thank
to
you.
get better with their finances, right? So that's good. So I want to talk about, I'm pretty sure you have seen it all over the place, about loud budgeting. It's like the new thing out there right now. So I don't know. What are your impressions on that? Really?
To be honest, I find it quite interesting. It's very interesting. For me, I do my budgets regularly. I've always been doing budgeting. It doesn't have to be loud for me. I know what I need, what I can afford, and
Mm-hmm.
I know what I can spend.
Mm-hmm.
So what I just do is I see the numbers, that's what I spend. Anything louder than that, it doesn't need to be louder than that for me as far as I'm
I
concerned.
like that. Doesn't
I
have to
just need
go.
to make sure that I'm living within my means. And that's the most important thing about budgeting. I feel like when most people hear the term budget, it scares them. They start to think about restriction. They start to think about limitation. They start to think about all these negative things. And that's
Mhm.
something that I'm trying to correct that impression that people have when it comes
Yeah.
to budgeting. Budgeting doesn't have to be restrictive. It's like a financial roadmap. I always tell people, like, think about it like this. When you think about going to a new destination,
Yeah.
what do you need to get there? You've never been there. You need a GPS.
Mm-hmm.
You need a map. You need something to help you get there. Think about your budget that way.
Yeah.
You have a financial goal, you have a financial destination, you know where you want to be in the next couple of years or whenever. See your budget as that GPS that is leading you to your destination.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it as a tool. Don't think of it as something that is restrictive, is limiting you, is prison, whatever word, all this word that people have when they think about budget. Don't think about it that way. So when you think about your budget as a tool, it becomes easier to make sure that you're updating it. It becomes
Yeah.
easier for you to start using it, be consistent and be
Mm-hmm.
committed to it. When I went on my last trip, I knew I had a budget that I was working with. So there were some tours, some excursions, some other things that I could do. But I just felt like, no, if I do these things, I'm going to be going out of my budget. That is because I even have a budget in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're traveling and you're going on the wing, or you're living life on the fly and you're just winging it, you don't know the numbers that you are working with, you're just like, whatever comes, whatever goes, that's fine, then you overspend.
Yeah.
When you overspend, what happens? You get into debt. When you
Yeah.
get into debt, what happens? You cannot get out of the cycle. You start to work and work and work to pay off your debt. And before you know it, you cannot even live a life of your own.
Yeah.
Because why? You're paying so much money into your debt, you're paying so much money into interest, you're doing all of
Mm-hmm.
these things, and you start to seem like you're saving the banks or the financial institution that you got the
Yeah.
money from. So it's just better for you to, why not take a step back, assess the situation. Even if you already have debt,
Mm-hmm.
find out the number that you need to contribute on consistently to help you bring down your debt. Continuously pay it down slowly and work with that number. Don't live life on the fly and just feel like whatever comes and goes, it goes. Your budget is there to help you make sure that you're not overspending, you're living within your means, and your money is going
Mm-hmm.
to the right places. That's literally what a budget does. So if anything about loud budgeting, I see the reason, I understand it, it's fine. For me, just make sure that you have a budget, that's all.
Yeah. Exactly. And respect your budget, at
Respect
all
it.
costs.
Stay
Yeah.
within it.
So
Because
when I started saying it, I was just like, I like the concept because definitely for me, I feel like it really it just helped normalize conversation about money.
mhm,
But I also feel like that could become a bit of TMI at
mhm,
times because you just have to be like, oh, oh yeah, you guys are going on that trip. I'm not going because in my budget, I have other priorities, and that's pretty much fine. So, but I feel like it's good. I like the reasoning behind it. I don't know how far that's gonna go and how much people will get into that
yeah,
bandwagon, but if anything, I feel like it's going to help a lot in
a lot of people, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it does
exactly, a
help,
lot of people. So
yeah.
talking about business now, and you said that you had a business back in Nigeria before coming to Canada. So how different it is to actually own a business in Nigeria and then now you have your own business here in Canada. Is it the same type of business or is it different? And
It's different. I'm also still planning to do the kind of business I had in Nigeria here, but
okay.
it's totally different. Here in Canada, things are more regulated.
Hmm.
Taxes, the government loves taxes a lot here. In Nigeria, you can make money and like get away
Your
with
money.
and keep your money. I mean, you pay your taxes, but you can you can decide to pay taxes on any amount of money that you claim is your
Yeah.
income. But here in Canada, everything is regulated. You have to pay taxes. Taxes literally like part of the law and makes you a responsible citizen.
Mm,
So and also is regulated. Back home I was doing like I could import products from China and all these places and sell it back home without having like an import license. But here in Canada you can't really import things without a license.
yeah.
There's also import duties. When the products get in, you have to pay these taxes. Back home we're paying import duties as well, but it wasn't really regulated, so to speak, where like there is processes. The CBSA would hold on to your products. You have to come clear them, or you need to get a broker. All of these things that goes into the process is totally, totally different from back home. And here they are more specific about some industry, some particular products that you're selling. You need a license not just to import, you also need a license to sell some specific things. So it's quite challenging, but I do like how businesses here can, you can start up a business in Canada and be rest assured that you'll be successful. Because one, if your target audience is the rest of the world, then people from wherever the part of the world see a Canadian product, they can trust it compared to a product that's coming from Nigeria, right? There's
Mm,
so much trust that they would have for a product coming from here.
yeah.
And there's also a lot of opportunities here because I mean it's Canada, it's right next to the US. There's so much more that you can benefit from being able to easily connect and do business with people around the world. There's also a lot of opportunities for you to get grants, for you to get
Yeah, that's
loans,
true.
all of these things that you can easily access to help you start a business. In Canada, I feel like if you just decide one day that you have a very good business idea and you want to pursue it, you can actually start that business. You just probably need a laptop or whatever basic necessity that you need to start that business.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get funding, you can apply for grants, you can apply for loans, you can even buy your laptop on credit, you can buy your phone or whatever it is that
Exactly.
you need to start on credit. Whereas back home, you need business capital, you need savings, you need family support, you need to have your laptop already, or if you don't even have the laptop, you have to save up to buy it.
Mhm.
And these days, people even start up a business even from a mobile phone, right? And back there, if you even want to buy a phone, you have to buy it outright.
Exactly.
Where you
There's no
can
no
decide to go into Fido tomorrow and say
yeah.
you want to get a phone, $0 down.
Mhm.
So there's just so much more opportunities here, which is really, really good.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's very likely that your business can be more successful here and grow into a much more bigger mega business if that's like in the plan for you. So
Mhm.
that's how I see it here.
So fast forward 5, 10 years, where are you seeing yourself in terms of your business? So
Oh,
I'm
this
not
is
seeing you going back to any job. That I'm just gonna say it. I'm
yeah.
not. So I'm not seeing going back to any
Definitely.
job. So that I'm
Definitely. By
putting it
God's
out
grace,
there
I hope
to
not.
the universe.
Absolutely not. I definitely hope to be successful, to run my business successfully, have multiple business. I have so many business ideas that I'm working on. I'm also trying to not wear myself too thin because again, like I said, if you have to focus on specific things, you can't spread yourself out too much.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're not going to see the kind of growth that you would like. You just have to commit to things and put in your best 110% effort into it. So hopefully in the next 5 to 10 years, I hope that one of my business ideas popped off and also continue to create value for my community,
Mhm.
help people reach their financial goals, also help people encourage ladies, women to live the life of their dreams, achieve their goals, their career, everything that they literally want because it's possible. There are a lot of women out there that are winning and it's very, very, very possible. And I can't wait to see a lot of black queens stand out there. Honestly, that would be a dream come true if I can point at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people in my community that I saw that, oh yeah, I knew this person from 5 years ago when
Yeah.
they were struggling to pay off their credit card, but now they are here. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to celebrate you. So that's something that will really, really be a huge win for me in the future as well. So yeah, those are some of the things I would like to see for myself. Definitely happily married as well, with my
Yeah.
kids, living the life of my dream, traveling, living our best life, building an empire. So yeah.
That is great. And you know what? I wish all that for you. We'll be following you closely, and as you'll be sharing your journey. So good evening, Natural LID. Good
I
evening. And let's see, we have just a question here from Hope and Victory. What is the money advice everyone should know? Hmm, you
Ooh,
go,
this is
Bisola.
good. This is a good one. I like this one. One money. Do you want to go for it? Should I go for it?
Oh, you're the guest. You go first.
I wanted to go for it, but I was like, maybe you should ask. Yeah. One money advice that everyone should know. One thing I always say is that money is just a tool.
Mm,
Like see money as a tool. Don't see money as the end in itself. If you're thinking of money for happiness, money might not bring you happiness. Money would give you the things that can give you happiness. But money itself will not give you happiness. Like having money in your bank account might not lead you to happiness. So make money just so that you can use money to buy those things or get yourself out of situations that you don't like. Make money to buy yourself freedom. Make money to buy your time back. Prioritize yourself. Make money so that you can prioritize yourself. You can put yourself first in different scenarios because anything can happen. Always have your vex money. Very important because things do be happening out here. But yeah, that's like how I see money, and I want every like I try to encourage people to see money in that way because when you see money in that way, you are not attached to making money. Like you want to make money, but you are not attached to just having money. You're just yeah, you have a bigger goal, bigger end goal, which is the value that you can get from having money, not just having money itself,
mhm.
right? I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's something that I always preach and yeah.
Mhm. No, that's a very good point actually, and I like that idea of seeing money as a tool. It is a tool. It's not the end all be all. It
Yeah.
is a tool. I mean, I'll say for myself that so for me, the money advice, I'm really big on investment. I would love to see more Black women, of course, invest. So I feel like when it comes to money advice, it's really we need to get in put in our in our mind that we need to find the way to make our money work
More
harder
for
for us. We work hard for our money, we need to find a way for our money to work harder for us. So once you make that money, What can you do with that money for that money
Mhm.
to multiply tenfold,
Mhm.
20 folds, 50 years, 50 folds,
Mhm.
So for that money not to stay in your bank account because inflation is gonna eat at it anyway, but how can you do to multiply that money so then eventually, retire early maybe, or being able to take a sabbatical, or like, buy that dream house that you want. Because if you don't do that investing part, yes, you're gonna make the money, make sure you're not in debt and have your emergency fund. But if you don't get into that investing part, you're gonna be working forever.
Yeah.
Going to be working forever, and nobody wants that. At least not willingly, right?
Mhm.
So
True.
it's real for me. The money advice is like find a way to multiply the money that you already work hard to get,
Yeah.
whatever you decide to do, but find a way to multiply that money
Mhm.
as soon as possible for the
Totally.
long term.
Totally. I love that. That's a very brilliant one. I love it.
Yeah. So sounds good. Okay, so
I
let's
do
go back
have
to
a
the
question.
business again. All right.
Okay.
So the business part. What are the challenges you feel like you're having right now?
Uh that's a very good one too, because one of the challenges that I have is actually time. And that
Mm.
was even one of the main reason why I quit my job. Because I was
So
like,
what's happening?
I'm putting in too much time into working for somebody else when I have all these things that I need to do. So I need my time back. And that was why I quit the job in the first place, to put my time into things that I love to do. But I'm still having problem with time because it feels like okay, I still don't have enough time to do all the things that I want to do. And
Mhm.
that's the struggle for me. But what I'm doing now is to actually let other people take care of certain things for me so that I can focus more on things that brings me joy, things that brings me more money, things that are going to lead to the growth that I want for myself. So things like I no longer spend time doing things like my video editing, managing like admin stuff, doing my accounting stuff because I used to do my accounting before myself, and a lot of other like manual and monotonous things that I used to spend my time doing. So now I'm trying to outsource more of those so that I can focus more on doing productive things. So that is my biggest struggle. But I still struggle with time. But I mean, I'm making good progress with with my time management.
Listen, we all, talking about money out here, but time is so much
So
important than money. So 100%. If there is a way for you to buy back your time, go at it. Like, if you have the means for it, because I totally agree with you. And especially when you're building a business, at the beginning, you feel like you want to be everywhere, put your hands in everything, but we still have the same 24 hours like everybody. And so I commend you for recognizing, those stressors and, those things that were sucking time away from, things that actually are going to be creating value and the growth that you want, and being able to say, okay, you know what, I'm delegating this. It's really hard to delegate, especially
yeah,
when you
nobody
start.
talks about how hard it is to delegate, how hard it is to let go of those things that
It is
you
so
feel like
hard.
they're taking so much time, but you also know you just need to let go so you can
Yes,
focus more on other things. Nobody talks
exactly.
about that.
Yeah. So you know what? It's hard, but when you do it, you're like, oh, just see how much, how
How
much that
much more
actually
time? Yeah.
brings you, and you're like, oh my God, and then you would just want to do it more and more. So
Hmm.
I feel like this is, I commend you for doing that. So, but definitely, I feel like for anyone having like especially a small business owner person, time is really challenging. So that's good. So coming into travel, right? So I believe you just came back from your trip in Thailand.
Thailand, yeah.
Want to talk about it?
Yes. Yes, I was literally doing the analysis of how much I spent in Thailand today. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. I spent 2 weeks in Thailand. That was one of the best trip I've ever taken.
Wow,
I went solo again. Traveling solo to Asia as a black woman.
I know. I did
Hmm,
that for
okay.
China. Mm-mm.
Yeah. But I had such a good time. I went to Chiang Mai, Phuket, and Bangkok, and it was such an incredible experience. I loved my time there. It also helped me learn a lot about myself, how
Mm.
I can take the lead in specific situation, how I can face challenges and still be myself, how I can manage money, and do all of these fun things, meet people, network, try to connect with people, getting out of your comfort zone. I learned a lot about myself from that trip, and yeah, it's one a memorable trip for me. I'm still posting content on my social media, so
Yeah,
it's still a
I'm
very
seeing it.
memorable trip for me.
Like
That
the food. I was just like, girl.
I had such a good time, man. And Thailand is relatively cheap because the exchange rate is much lower there. But the
Mhm.
cost of traveling to Thailand is more so in the flight ticket itself, because it was almost what am I saying? It's actually a 24-hour trip, right?
Wow.
It's a very, very long haul trip that takes you there. So for you to get there, and that flight ticket cost a lot of money. Like literally, from my calculations today, more than half of my budget went to the
The
flight
flight.
tickets
Yeah.
alone.
Okay. And
So
so, okay, so why Thailand out of all of the countries in Southeast Asia?
in Southeast Asia, I know, right? Thailand, I felt I wanted to go to South Korea or Japan, but I just felt like Thailand would give me more of I can like a more relatable culture, a more relatable experience. I feel like South Korea, Japan, they are nice. They're very good places to travel to, but they are really, really it's almost like traveling to the western part, but it's now in Asia, like western countries, but in Asia, right? You're traveling somewhere really developed, life is good there, but it's like everybody's on that grind mode. And I wanted something a bit laid back,
Hmm.
somewhere I can still get like experience different city. For example, each cities that I visited had different experience, different unique vibe. They didn't have like similar vibe at all, and it was just totally different. So that was the main reason why I chose Thailand. I wanted something that is in Asia that will give me the Asian experience. I'll get to see different parts of the world, but also not something too overdeveloped, but developed enough that I would enjoy my stay, because there are some places that obviously they're not as developed as where I'm coming from, which is Canada. And if you go there, you might struggle to fit in or still have fun. But not something so underdeveloped, but some developed enough where I can still explore and enjoy and live the life and enjoy the experience as much as I want. And that was why I chose Thailand.
Hmm. So I want to touch on a few things that you say, and really also for my community of Black women, who really want to take sabbaticals and travel and whatnot. So you went there solo in Asia as a Black woman. Can you share your experience traveling as a solo Black woman in Asia?
Comment.
How was that?
Yeah. The experience was good actually. I didn't get any like weird scares. I didn't get any scary situations where it felt like I was being threatened or so. As a matter of fact, they really appreciated my skin. They were looking at me like, oh my gosh, some of them thought they saw Beyonce.
You like,
Ah, I was getting the celebrity treatment. Oh, can we take pictures with you? Can you join our table and all of that? It was really nice. But also, there's this part that comes with us being paranoid, because when people are so warm and extra friendly with us, it becomes scary. Like,
yes,
very catch. Is there
what do you
something
want?
that I should be wary about? But I tried to free myself from that mindset. I did more research about Thailand as well. That's also another reason why I chose Thailand. I learned that it's one of the places that
Hmm.
people travel to solo, and they always feel safe there. Not once did I ever felt unsafe, even though sometimes I was walking around in the night. And the people that you would even feel like might scare you a little bit are also tourists, not the people that
I'll
actually
live there.
live there.
Yeah.
So it's like if it's your fellow tourist, then you should know how to manage it a little bit more. And in terms of communicating, because Thailand they don't speak English, right? I made sure to download things like having a Google map. I also made sure to have like some safety kits with me. And I made sure to have internet and power on my phone at all time. So I got like an eSIM that would help me stay connected. So I had data on my phone the whole time. I made sure to have like a small power bank just so that I always have access to charging my phone. I also shared my location with my siblings back home here in Canada.
Yeah.
Try to also keep in touch whenever I'm moving between cities or moving between hotels. I let them know. I also made sure to stay in touch with people just so that they don't feel like, oh my gosh, where has she been? It's been 2, 3 days. We haven't heard from her. Just making sure to stay in touch so everyone knows that I'm fine and okay. Sending pictures and just, yeah, just making sure to also leave and have fun because I didn't travel there to not have fun. Yeah, so but yeah, that was how my experience was. And I really would encourage a lot of black women out there. If traveling is something that you are really passionate about, is something you want to experience, please go for it.
Listen to her.
Don't feel like you have to wait for some time or you have to wait for people because listen, if you have to wait for friends or wait for anyone before you travel somewhere, you probably will never go because you don't know when they'll be ready and everybody's time is different.
Yeah,
You might decide that you want to travel somewhere in December. Someone else say they don't have the budget for it until March. Then you wait until March. But then by March, something comes up at your job and you don't have that time to travel again.
yeah,
Then you decide that, okay, let's go in June. Then June, something else comes up for them. So you keep going back and forth. Before you know it, 3 years is gone down the line and you still didn't eventually get to travel. So I'll just say if you really want to travel, don't wait for anybody because you might be waiting forever. Just take that leap. You can start small, go somewhere maybe within the country, or you can go to other countries where you would feel more comfortable. Do as much research as you can about wherever you're traveling to, and just live life, enjoy yourself, free yourself of the mindset that, oh my God, is anybody watching me? Don't be paranoid. My first solo trip was to Jamaica, and there was a
mhm,
reason I chose Jamaica. I deliberately chose Jamaica because I wanted a place where I would feel like every other person is like me. Like
that's
I
smart.
wouldn't feel
Yeah,
threatened like, oh my gosh, they don't speak English. I can understand whatever any Jamaican is saying,
yeah,
right? I don't want a situation where I'm somewhere that, where the food seems strange to me. I can eat any Jamaican food. I also didn't want to be somewhere where I'm scared that they are going to be potentially racist to me. You're Jamaican, I'm
mm,
African. We're literally the same. So that was also one of the reasons why I chose Jamaica. I made sure to choose like a nice resort that had good reviews. And even with all of my excursions, I still made sure like there were things that are going to be safe, that I've seen people leave positive reviews, positive feedbacks, and I went for them. But I also made sure to free myself of the mindset that being paranoid, because I feel like being paranoid is the problem that most women actually
mhm,
have. You go on this expensive trip where you are home all day because you're scared of going out. No, you don't have to feel that way. You can just take one excursion. Okay, fine. I would be in the resort for most of the time, but try one thing. You can start with one thing. Start something small. Maybe a few hours excursion, a few hours tour, half day tour. Just start something. If it helps you feel comfortable to meet other people, make new friends in the resort or wherever it is that you're staying, then you can go with them. Another group that I follow on Facebook is Girls Who Love Travel.
mhm.
That page has really helped me so much. So whenever I'm traveling solo to somewhere, I just search it on that page and I see people that have gone there. I read their experience, I read their feedback. Most times, more often than not, you'll find someone that has traveled there solo and they tell you the experience that they had. And I know another thing that a lot of women struggle with when they travel solo is loneliness. Sorry, I know I'm talking too much, but
No, that you know
solo
what?
traveling is something that I love to talk
Exactly.
about
Yeah.
because I'm
Mhm.
trying to encourage more people to travel
Yes.
too. So people struggle with loneliness because they feel like, oh my gosh, like who will I talk to? Like I'm just at the beach by myself. What do I do if I'm at the beach by myself? I know I get it, but what I like to do in those situations is before I go there, I plan some fun activities that I want to do. I go with my tripod so I can take my pictures myself. I have like music, I have like a Bluetooth speaker that I can use to play music. You can go with a book as well that you're reading just to also distract yourself. And sometimes some women even wear like fake engagement ring just so they can put off those weirdos that might come around and try to have conversations with you. And also you can play safe by not exactly telling people that you're alone, especially if you are not so sure about them. Don't share your live location, don't share live content on the internet. These are like some safety tips. But in terms of loneliness, you have to be comfortable with yourself. If you feel like you are not someone that you can spend a whole day on your own, then maybe it's not a time for you to start solo traveling. Maybe you might start with going on solo dates, trying an activity solo, doing some
Go to
fun
the
things
restaurant by
alone,
yourself for
go
the
to a
first
restaurant by yourself,
time.
try something fun by yourself. Then when you start to build on that and you get comfortable with doing things on your own, then you can now start to solo travel. But solo travel, don't feel like you'll be lonely. As a matter of fact, you might even make friends. Every single time that I was in Thailand and I dressed up and I went out, someone would say, "Oh, can they take pictures with me?" When they take pictures with me, next thing we're talking about, "Oh, what do you do?" And we keep the conversation going like that. Before you know it, we're at the table having a drink, chatting, and you feel like we came here together. But I literally met them like a
Yeah,
few hours ago, right? So you just have to also keep an open mind and be ready to explore and just have fun. Yeah.
yeah. No, that's a very good point. And I know someone was asking if you felt like a celebrity.
Of course, I felt like a celebrity. That's literally how I felt when you're asking me, "Hey, can I take photos with you?" And people are like waiting on the line to take pictures with you. It's like, okay, I didn't know I was. Should I start charging for this? Should I start getting paid? But yeah, that's how I felt. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely felt that. Well, it was nice. It was nice to see how they also appreciated our skin tone, appreciate the hair. They
yeah,
appreciate like they just felt like they were seeing somebody new. But again, in Thailand, they're not so new to black people. It's just
yeah.
some places that you go to, and some of the travelers that people that travel there, like some people I took pictures with were Russians that came to do like travel in Thailand, and some Chinese people. So it's more so those ones that are not so familiar with seeing black people than maybe some remote places that I went to in Thailand, like some inside city restaurants, then the people working there. So those were the ones. And yeah, it didn't feel awkward at all. It was just nice. I had
That's
fun.
amazing. And so Thailand was your second trip solo? Or
No, it's probably my fourth. Yeah,
okay,
it's my fourth.
okay. So is it that you decide to go on your own, or that you really can't find anyone to go with you and you're
Most
like,
times, if I can't find, I'm open to traveling with friends. Like my trip coming up next month. Is it next month? Yeah, next month. I'm traveling with friends. I'm open to traveling with people. But if there aren't anyone to travel with, I will just go on my own. Like I'm not going to wait. That's the way I look at it. Like, yeah, if I'm really interested in traveling somewhere, I would share with my friends that hey, I'm traveling somewhere here, or I'll just buy my ticket and I'll ask people if you're interested. Let's go. If you're not interested, that's fine. I'll still go.
this
Like
is
that's just
honestly, anyone who's listening to this, listen. I, so many times I've people have said, oh, I so want to go there, but nobody wants to go with me. So, and I'm like, book your ticket and
you can go
go.
alone.
Like, just go. Like, what are you gonna, regret the most in 10, 20 years? Like, are you gonna regret that you did go and you had fun, or like you didn't go because you couldn't find anyone to go with you? I'm like, we live in a maybe, 50 years ago that wouldn't have been recommended. But like today, where we all connected, you have your phone, so many ways to, to keep in touch with your loved ones. And I understand. I don't want to minimize the fact that traveling solo as a woman, and on top of that as a black woman, of course, you want to make sure that it is in safe environments and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
But
it has its own risks. Yeah,
exactly. But you just shared so many things that you did as you were preparing, like, getting into groups and seeing people who went there, actually women who went there, how it went for them and getting in touch with them. So there is a way for you to do your due diligence to get that, comfortable traveling, right?
mhm.
So, but I don't want people to be like, oh, nobody wants to go with me, so I'm not
I'm
going.
not
And
gonna
I
go.
find it so sad.
You probably never go, so just go.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't need to go all the way too far, like somewhere all the way in Asia. You can start somewhere around, somewhere
Yeah.
within reach, somewhere 3, 4, 5 hours away. You
Mhm.
don't have to go for a whole 2 weeks like I did.
Yeah.
You can start from 5 days. My first solo trip was 5 days. So you can look for something short, somewhere close by, and start with that. Then over time, you get comfortable with yourself,
Mhm.
and you can travel far and wide to wherever it is that you want to go.
Okay. And so, where are you going next? If you
Uh,
want to share.
yeah, we're going to Colombia. I'm going to Colombia, and I'm going to
Woo!
Panama as well.
Great. You know what? I just love how you structure your sabbatical. I'm gonna work hard and then I'm gonna
Yeah,
live hard. Like, I'll make sure, to have those moments in
best
there
of
where I
both. Yeah,
travel and I really have fun. So I honestly love that, the way you actually structured that, and how you
thank you.
making it happen.
We've got one life. We have to live to the fullest.
Eggs. Thank you. Honestly, that's the thing, my, the Exodus community, that's what we want to do. It's really making sure we out there and really living our life and being okay taking the sabbatical. The job will still be there when we come back, or even leaving the job. And so I'm hoping, I'm always inspired when I have young people on the platform here, because you guys are like, I want to leave. I don't know what you.
Leave. I know where you're
Yeah,
on to, but
forget
I
about
gotta
the
leave.
pension, forget
Live
about
my
the
best life,
house.
live life to the fullest.
I just want to leave. So I'm doing this. Of course, you find a balance, but I feel like we can totally learn from you guys. And I always like, I'm amazed by all of the young people really getting out there and doing their thing. And so, uh, yeah. So what's the future like, for you? What are your goals? Personal goals, business goals, what people should be looking forward, let's say, when they start following you on your platform. So you're on Instagram, you're on
YouTube.
YouTube,
I'm on
um
Twitter,
and
TikTok. I'm
TikTok.
literally on all social platforms, but I would say YouTube and Instagram are my main
Okay.
platforms rather. I am currently still sharing content from my Thailand trip, so if you want to go check that out, you
Yes,
definitely enjoy
you
it.
guys go.
It's
You
really,
will
really
love
nice.
it.
And one thing I always make sure to do every time I travel is I do like a cost breakdown where I analyze exactly how much I spend, things I spent the money on, just to also encourage people out there, because I know sometimes people feel like, oh my gosh, traveling is out of reach for them,
Yeah.
whereas you don't even know how much you need to spend. When I
Hmm.
did the cost breakdown for my trip to Cuba, people were so surprised at how little I spent to get so much experience. It was like, and I had like two or three people book the same resort that I stayed in, because they
Yeah.
said, oh yeah, you just inspired me. I'm definitely going there. I've booked it. I'm excited to go there. Tell me some of the activities you did so I can check it out and stuff. So that's something I always try to do. So I do a cost breakdown. But for now, I'm still doing sharing content about my trip from Thailand. But in the future, I still hope to continue to share educational content about finance,
Hmm.
travel and lifestyle, encouraging a lot of like women, everyone out there to make, save, and grow their money so they can live their best life.
Hmm.
That's what like life, living your life is as important as making that money. Right. So that's something that I'm really passionate about, and I hope to continue to do that with my platforms.
Great. Well, you know what, I'm so happy that we actually finally got to
I'm
do
so
this.
glad we finally got to do this too. It's been
Exactly.
so much fun.
And I'm hoping to have you back, maybe in
Yeah.
a couple of years, and see how things have progressed for
Yeah.
you, what other countries you travel to. Let's say, so far, what is your favorite destination that you have been to and that you will go back in a heartbeat
That's a
whenever
good
you have
one.
the
That's a
opportunity?
good one. I was still having this conversation with my sister just today, a few
Oh,
hours.
really?
Yeah, because we travel there together, and sometimes we do trips together as well.
Yeah.
My favorite is definitely Dubai. I've
Really?
been there twice, and we had such a good time, and I just feel like I could still go back there again and have like an amazing experience again, just because there's so like I'm an adventurous person. I love adventure. I love adrenaline rush, and with Dubai it's like there's an inexhaustible list of fun things that you can do there. So I
Mhm.
love that for the place. There isn't so much culture wise that you can get there. So if you're someone that you're more so into culture and learning more about
Museums
like
and
yeah,
libraries and
lifestyle
well.
stuff, not necessarily you get more like the fancy high-tech lifestyle, that kind of
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
Fun adventure, yeah, but not a lot of culture stuff there. But I still like it. The experience is always different each time. So yeah, that's one place that I know that if you give me an all expense paid trip, I'll most likely
You
I'll
gone.
choose to go to Dubai.
And how about the destination that you really didn't like and you don't think that you will want to go back to?
That's a good one too. I think I'm done with Dominican Republic. I
Mm.
went there just once. It was okay. It wasn't a bad experience at all. Nothing bad happened. It's just that like they didn't have as much stuff like I would like to do. There isn't so much to do
Yeah.
there. When I went to Cuba, there isn't so much to do there too. But I liked the cultural experience that I felt in Cuba, and there is so much more that I would love to explore there. So I
Hmm.
would still love to go back to Havana. But like in DR, I just felt like I've seen it all. Like
Yeah.
instead of going to DR, if I wouldn't be getting as much experience, I might as well go to Mexico. So That's how I feel about it. But it's like if you still want to go to DR, I'll definitely go to Punta Cana. It's so much fun, but it's not somewhere where I want to go back to again and again and again. No.
And in terms of food, would you say still Dubai will be the top of the list when it comes to food?
Ah, no, definitely not. I'm not really a foodie. That's why I didn't choose. I didn't prioritize food. But food wise, I had the best food in Turkey.
Where?
Turkey.
Oh, Turkey. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I hear so many people talk
The
about
food,
great about the food.
Boston.
Oh my, I only had the
Boston.
baklavas. The way they do the
But the
baklava
baklavas,
is
yeah,
so
it's
different
really nice.
from, I guess, the one that they sell in store. And so I
Yeah.
had it a couple of times, like a former
Turkish
coworkers.
delights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was
it's
just like,
really good.
wow.
Yeah,
So
the food there, so good.
really?
So,
Okay.
so good. The food I had in Thailand was really good too, but let's say more of the street food. They have a lot of really nice, delicious street food. But the food in Turkey, like actual dining, full course meal, very nice, delicious meals.
And by the way, you tried for the first time octopus in
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 Thailand, yeah, I tried.
I was laughing when I was watching that video. I'm like, is she gonna eat it or is she not gonna eat
I ate it. I
it?
tried it. I mean, it was nice to try. They have like a variety, like plethora of street food. You can't even finish trying everything.
I know.
So yeah,
Yeah. I remember when I was in China, I was in a restaurant and they brought the menu. The menu is in Mandarin. So me, I will usually look at the pictures because I don't speak Mandarin. So that was my way of ordering in restaurant. I'll look at just the pictures and be like, do you have pork in that? Because I don't eat pork. And then they'll tell me like at one point they brought the menu. There was like a turtle, a picture of a turtle. And I'm like,
is it real?
and then I'm like, you eat this? And they're like, oh yeah, you want it? And I'm like, no.
Absolutely not.
No. I'm like, no, I'm a foodie, but I'm not there yet. No, no turtle for me today. I'm gonna stick to the mainstream stuff. It was like, yeah, so it was like, oh, you want it? I can bring it. So honestly, that's the beauty of traveling, and discovering so many different cultures and at all levels. So I'll keep talking. It's on my list. I've never been to Turkey
Yeah,
yet, but
definitely check it
I'll
out.
definitely I'm gonna give it a bump up because of the food because I hear so much about it.
Yeah, the food
So
is good. So
yeah,
good.
wow. So I don't see any other questions in the chat. You guys, I hope that you already following her YouTube channel. I think I put it up here. Actually, no, I only put your website. I just want to make sure that I put also your YouTube here so people can go and follow you on your YouTube channel. I want to thank each and every of you for joining us this evening for this fun conversation. I hope that you really learned something from it, and now you have a new person to follow on YouTube if you didn't know Bisola before.
Yeah, I put
And
my social media in chat as well, my Instagram.
yeah, go ahead, go right
Oh,
ahead.
I don't know why for some reason I don't have like I have to log in to join but I put it in private chat so maybe you can add.
Oh, really? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I have it here. Let me put it in the chat for everybody.
And I use the same name on all platforms. It's still WeScreen, so you can check me out on any platform.
How did you come up with that name before we end this?
It's a
Because
very
I find
interesting
it
one.
so original. I was
I
like,
know, right? When I was much younger, like before teenage years, before adolescence at all, I wasn't even like I haven't gotten into that age yet. I was probably like 12 or 13. I used to call myself like Slim Queen. I was very slim and slender. Then I started to mature, hit maturity age, and I wasn't slim per se. I was becoming thick, and it felt like okay, slim is no longer the word. So I chose the name. I started to look for name, like what um prefix could I possibly use. I chose the name Diva Queen. Diva Queen didn't
mm,
make sense to me. And I looked up the meaning of diva. It's more so like a female opera singer. And I'm like, my singing voice is terrible. I dare not even sing. Then I tried so many words, but the one that stood out was Wiz, and it just perfectly described me because it sounded like me, like a young,
mhm.
talented, skillful person, resourceful person. I'm like, this is the
That's
one,
nice.
this is the one. And that's how I just transitioned from Slim Queen to Whiz Queen. And that name stayed with me from like since ever since I've been like 14 or so. up until now. I'm just
Love
so in
it.
love with it, and I love the name. Every time people ask me, I always have a story to tell. Like, oh, this is how that name started. It was never actually WhizQueen. It started from Slim Queen. Then
Yeah.
I wasn't so slim anymore, and I transitioned to Wiz because I'm resourceful. But yeah, that's literally the background.
Oh, wow, that's
Thank you,
amazing. And
naturally.
as you can see in the chat, people are saying thank you for the
Thank you for being.
conversation.
Thank you so much.
People
Thank you,
getting
everyone.
inspiring. It's inspired, and also especially for the travel encouragement. Honestly, you ladies go out there and
I
you
can't wait to see you all traveling, living your best life. Yes, yes,
exactly.
please. Yes,
So
queens.
if you honestly, if you enjoy the conversation, don't forget to hit the like again, and also subscribe to
To
the channel
everyone
here.
watching again, thank you so much
Exactly.
for watching,
Yeah,
for watching the replay.
and stay tuned because I intend to bring Bisola maybe in a
Yeah,
year or so because I
me
know she's
together.
going places and we want to hear about it. We want to hear
Yes,
about it on
yes,
this
yes.
channel.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Thank you so much, ladies. I'm gonna end the live now. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Have a great
Bye.
evening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.